In our Sunrise Smart Start, 2 students at a Rochester charter school have been detained after police tell us they brought a loaded handgun to school yesterday.
School officials at the Academy of Health Sciences Charter School on Lake Avenue called police around 11:30 yesterday morning, and when they arrived, school staff turned the weapon over to police. As a result, a 14-year-old girl and a 13-year-old boy were arrested. That investigation is still going.
Rochester police are still looking for the person they believe is responsible for the shooting death of retired RPD officer William Booker. They've arrested 64-year-old Calvin Watkins for stealing Booker's handgun after he was shot. Watkins is charged with theft, but police say he didn't shoot Booker and robbery was not the motive for the shooting. If you have any information on who may have pulled the trigger, you are asked to call Rochester Police.
A public conversation held at the Brighton Central School District after a high school physics teacher was arrested last week. Louis Carasone is accused of having child pornography. Carasone is now on unpaid assignment, and Brighton's superintendent says Carasone will not be returning to the district.
The community food cupboard of Rochester has been ransacked twice in 2 weeks, according to their administrator. Mary Beth Weed says during the first incident on October 22nd, a man broke the window to get in and steal a handful of items. She says since they've replaced the window and installed a new alarm system, only for it to happen again on Halloween night. She says the burglar broke the new window, stealing their snowblower, batteries, and other items that had just been replenished. Items she says are necessary for people in need.
Rochester Fire Department responded to a 3-alarm fire at a former hotel last night. This happened in the 100 block of East Main Street. The size of the 7-story building is what caused so much concern. More than 55 firefighters were on scene for nearly 4 hours. RFD tells us there was nobody injured in the fire and the cause is still under investigation. Firefighters also share that caution goes up with a large abandoned building because they worry it may be a place that the homeless rely on for shelter.
It's getting cold. We got to be concerned that an abandoned hotel on Main Street is possibly occupied, so we're doing our due diligence and searching.
And always a good reminder, RFD says it's a good time to check your smoke alarms. It's best to check them on a monthly basis.
Keep your holidays healthy. That's the message we're hearing from city and Monroe County officials as we approach colder weather. This is a part of a community-wide campaign to raise awareness and educate the public about getting vaccinated for both the flu and COVID-19. According to officials, COVID cases are stable in local hospitals and they're looking less severe. However, they say respiratory illness continues to rise, especially in children, as the weather gets colder and there is no vaccine for RSV as of yet. Checking in now with meteorologist James Gilbert. James, we reported before, cold weather does not equate to people getting sick. Viruses just live in the cold, but yes, always good to keep in mind.
Yep, right. More people inside, closer quarters. That's going to do it. How about getting outside? Because the weather is really nice. Biking forecast this morning, if we're getting on to take a ride, a little chilly, lower 40s, but still plenty of time to bike as we get into this afternoon as well. Just a gorgeous day to try to get outside and take advantage. Still looking sunny. If you're right up along Lake Ontario, especially on the west side, you may have some fog to contend with for the next hour or two, but otherwise we'll hold on to those clear skies. Yes, the weekend forecast is a good one. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. Casey, ML, back to you.
All right, James, thank you. Taking another look at the roads this morning. Things are still looking good out there. No new accidents to report. If anything changes, though, we will let you know. As of now, 390, 495, 90 are moving on time.
Tom Golisano in Brighton announcing plans to open a new business institute with a target start date for next year. The Golisano Institute for Business and Entrepreneurship will offer a 2-year certificate program with a primary focus on a business-related curriculum. The institute will be located on Sawgrass Drive, and Golisano's goal is to weld 250 students for the first year, with annual tuition starting at $8,900 and assistance available for high school graduates, young working professionals, and veterans. The first session production will begin next September.
Governor Kathy Hochul, along with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, announcing that a world leader in the semiconductor industry has selected Genesee County as the location for a multi-million-dollar facility, which officials say will create 600 jobs. British company Edwards Vacuum manufactures vacuum tech to assist in the production of semiconductors, and they will build a $319 million facility in Alabama, New York. This news comes on the heels of the announcement that chip manufacturer Micron will be investing $100 billion into a new facility outside of Syracuse.
iMessages, e-signatures, cookies, all terms many of us are familiar with when it comes to digital daily life. But that's not the case for everyone. Now, one program in our region is working to bridge the digital divide, teaching computer and technology skills to anyone interested in learning. The digital literacy program is part of Literacy Rochester, a nonprofit organization where volunteers help tutor adults in literacy skills. Literacy Rochester is funded primarily through donations, and there is always a need for volunteers. Well, if you're looking for plans this weekend that the whole family can enjoy together, we might have just the idea for you.
That's right. The Rochester Children's Book Festival returns this Saturday. News 8's Jatira Marsh joins us now in studio to tell us more about the event and what you can expect. Jatira, did you see any good titles that caught your eye?
As a matter of fact, I did. Nikki Nakayama, A Chef's Tale in 13 Bites. But before I get into that, let me share more information on this event so everyone else can check it out. This year will be the festival's first time back since 2019. They took a year off and did a virtual event, but of course nothing beats actually flipping through the pages. The event will take place at the RIT campus in the Student Alumni Building from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will be crafts, face painting, and you get to have meet and greets with the authors and illustrators of the books. The book that I mentioned earlier, well, the illustrator Yuko Jones will be there, and she says that she got a lot of her inspiration for the book from Japanese culture, and shares that reading books allows different cultures to relate to one another.
Reading books is everything. You can learn different culture. I mean, Nikki Nakayama is about Japanese American girl, but then you read the story and you realize that people who look and, act different, well, we don't act differently. People who look differently and maybe eat different food and practice different culture, they have the similar struggles in their lives. And I think it's really important that by reading books, different kinds of books, we can understand we share all the same similar issues, but we can relate and kind of nurture compassion that way.
The event is free to the public and will take place this Saturday, November 5th. In the studio, Jatira Marsh, News 8.
All right, Jatira, thank you. We're looking forward to it.
For more information on parking and a schedule of events, you can visit rcbfestival.com. All right, unfortunately, if you were hoping to wake up a billionaire from the Powerball this morning, sorry to break it to you, nobody won the jackpot, but you may still have won something. The numbers from last night were 2, 11, 22, 35, 60, and the red Powerball 23. Last night, we accidentally said 12 instead of 22. We apologize for the error. The next jackpot is drawn on Saturday, and it's estimated to be $1.5 billion in history, the third largest in U.S. lotto history. I have to fight the urge to do the Professor Dr. Evil thing when I say that.
Here's what some folks might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. The Bills jumped into the trade deadline late, and that move is bringing in Nyheim Hines from the Colts. On an already explosive offense, Hines will be another weapon for quarterback Josh Allen. Hines says he's still learning terminology and that he wants to be the punch returner, but he's not worried about needing to prove himself to his new teammates. And the Bills' other move, they are bringing back safety Dean Marlowe, which will add some depth with Micah Hyde out for the season, and our boy Jordan Poyer nursing an elbow injury.